I'm Jonathan Sharp. I'm the coordinator or instigator or troublemaker with this, and I have been working for several years with Randy Olson, who will take over here shortly. It's
kind of been an evolving process. This began in Orlando at the Ocean Sciences meeting, I think in 2008, and we've done about 5 of these workshops, and then 2 months ago at AGU, I decided to turn it into a panel. So we did S Factor 1 there that turned out really great, and now this is our second effort with a panel discussion.
Today on Penguin TV, ocean drilling for kids.
One of the things it demonstrates is the power of this improv type of delivery.
It's not so rigidly scripted. Your scientist narrator, whoever she was, what was her name?
Christina Reiselman.
Christina, she's fantastic.
The more specific you can get about who you really want to understand this, I think the better it's always going to be.
I love being cold. I love it. I hate being hot. I've worked as a climbing ranger in the National Park Service and as a mountain guide for a guiding company.
That's one of the great strengths of this piece, was just letting her tell the whole story.
This one is so visually beautiful in so many ways. The story just works more clearly, and we identify with her and we identify with the science more because we have a human way in.
She's fighting nature, and it's man versus nature. It's one of those classic storylines, so that everybody knows it right off the bat.
In an environmentally stressed and complex world, one group of students and young professionals is at the forefront of addressing today's most pressing environmental issues.
The visuals were good. The music fit well. It was not distracting. It went along right well with it. But again, it's that why question. It's like, why is a student going to watch this 3 minutes and be affected? You know.
The best idea that I could suggest is to take one person, tell their story of how this happened to them, how it changed their lives, what they have access to now, what they could never have been able to do before, and what they hope to do in the future.
The part at the end, the last minute or so, was really excellent, of the images with the text over them. And that's such a powerful means of communication, particularly when you try and deal with educational material.
But in the case of the elkhorn and staghorn corals, the hybrid of the two is common and appears to be getting more abundant.
Randy and Dory touched on one person's story, so that makes it easier to kind of digest. That was very, very clear.
Immediately engaged as she was telling about, that growing up and loving coral reefs, things like that.
I think that to make the story complete, to have an emotional impact, is that the lay people that we're speaking to is, why is this a tragedy?
And this is exactly what we were just talking about. Clearly, whoever shot this had a really nice eye, all those interesting angles.
I really, really liked the film, but I felt like there was no results.
Yeah, I didn't get it as the layman. The cinematography is beautiful, and the visuals are fantastic, and the music was very nice. Although at some point with the the fairy tale harp and the Peruvian pan flute, I wanted like a hobbit to jump out or something, and it never did.
It never really got to storytelling, but visually I found it totally engaging and really enjoyable.
Aquaria victoria is a bioluminescent jellyfish.
And allowing yourself as scientists, allowing the human part of you that connects to other humans, allowing that to come out, I think is a really powerful tool.
You don't need to start from the very outset laying out all the information. Sometimes it's kind of fun to confuse the audience a bit and intrigue them and pull them in.
But the same issue came up for me. Is like, what was the main point of this video? Why is it important that we know that the jellyfish are being depleted, dying out, whatever it is?
Did you know that half of the oxygen that we breathe comes from tiny organisms that live in the ocean? It's true.
I think the graphics are lovely. I think the voiceover works really well.
The who, what, where, and why is kind of a journalistic term that you can apply to communicating with videos. I thought the who, what, where was clear, but the why to me was not. Like, why are we watching this 4-minute video? What are we going to get out of it?
That's the interesting thing. Was about 3 minutes in, I think, you finally posed a very good question. Why do we have this dead zone, given that there's all this primary production and life from the phytoplankton?
Oyster abundances have declined dramatically over the last century.
The audience, the lay audience, knows exactly what's going on, so you don't have to play that the guessing game of the who, what, and where.
I think it was really well done, but I think it's a good example to remember just to not give too much information.
I thought the graphics were great. This is another classic example, one that could use a few little phrases on the screen that summarize points as you go along.
And so Flat Stanley here asked if he could come along. And I think he might actually ride the vehicle to look for penguins.
I thought this was really effective. Again, the humor as a device is very effective as far as introducing real information then to the audience.
Flat Stanley is a piece of paper, but he's very human.
Once they're laughing, they're listening. Obviously, I think everybody will agree the visuals are fantastic. They're unbelievably clear and fantastic. The music goes along right with it.
The reason I love this one is because I feel like it's just art for art's sake. I feel like it's a beautiful painting or a lovely piece of music. Shut up.
The science world is now facing this giant communication problem, and the solution to their problem, and so much of what we're talking about here, are basic principles that come from that, the narrative and the first person, the journey, and all those sorts of things. So please do come and talk to us. We're interested in all your thoughts, comments, any further discussion on these films. And again, thank you all so much for taking part in this. It was wonderful. Thanks.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks.